Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we once again have even more big drama when it comes to physical game sales. Now, as you guys probably know, we've been seeing like a big twist towards the digital age, and I kind of actually cover this up a little bit on my channel itself. Mainly because I like the idea of game preservation. I grew up with games like on my GameCube, buying physical like Zelda games. My PS2, I still have my original Halo. I have all my like dot hack games, if you guys remember those from back in the day. My PlayStation 2 games, and obviously I just have a lot of various, like, I almost find it as like a collectible thing. I've always enjoyed the retro gaming style, and of course I always loved just growing up on having those certain styles, like games, like they were probably made me happy. I love that when I was growing on up. And at the end of the day, even a lot of my GameCube games I do feel like are, well, kind of like more on the rare side. But when it comes to video games as a whole, we are kind of seeing this big switch finally where not just many people really like the idea of physical games, collector's editions. Big game companies such as Walmart, GameStop, Sony, Xbox, even Nintendo, although Nintendo's kind of a little bit more okay with it due to the fact of who's buying their games, are kind of slowly tapering away from physical games. And right now it seems like it's almost at that point where it's dire. Now, every now and then, every few months, I'll make a video on this because I do feel like there's new information that comes on out. And even from a year-to-year basis, well, at the end of the day, things are looking really bad. So I'm going to go talk about this, talk about my opinions, and as well, I want to hear your thoughts and comments on everything down below on the fact that it seems like physical gaming is now finally dying even more, and it does seem like it's on its way out. So subscribe if you guys are new. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments on everything down below. Of course, we have the Twitters and Twitches down below too as well. We're on a little bit of a YouTube break in the near future, so maybe I'm going to look out for the next few days on updates for the YouTube channel itself. I just appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place. So we had this little intriguing article that came out over here. It's kind of where Sport out the thought once again, saying that the physical video game sales collapsed in the UK as of this last year. Now, I always kind of mention the UK because I feel like they do kind of get more hands-on video game data, like a lot easier, surprisingly. They're like, oh my god, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, and on my PlayStation consoles. And the big thing is that the UK is probably the most comparable country to America. Now, you guys might be thinking, oh, the British, gross, but in all honesty, they're kind of usually somewhat affluent. They have a pretty high standard of living. PlayStation, Xbox would like to sell their games over there, and obviously they are big spenders. I'd probably say if I really had to say like the big like 5 or so console markets is probably America number 1, because, well, duh, we're American. And I'd probably say number 2 is probably the UK. And afterwards, probably Japan, and also that maybe like a Canada, Australia, and obviously you just want to factor in all of Asia together, like China, India, etc. They're always kind of big clumped on up, but they're usually more PC and mobile gamers. But as you guys probably know, the Xbox 360, Microsoft is an American-based company, like a lot of these physical games, GameStop as well, Walmart's, Best Buys, all these places. And while they do exist also in the UK for like pretty much their own copycat things of like Argos and like like it's not even GameStop, it's just game. It's very comparable with stores. Like we can kind of look at those numbers and they compare very well to Americans. But basically the UK game revenue also fell slightly in a tough year for the industry. Physical video game sales have fallen and everything is kind of fallen apart. Once again, I like the idea of physical games, but I do think with like the PS5 Pro being mostly digital and all these places still complaining that the disk drive is out there shows two things. Number one, that people still have a demand for physical games. People want to have physical games. I myself will say this over and over and over again. I like having physical games and collectibles and all this, but it does kind of seem like most people, especially maybe more younger adults or younger kids who are finally getting to their console market, probably just don't care. They just really just at the end of the day, if they can get it on the digital download, they're going to do it. They grew up on iPads, iPhones, whatever, that instantly just go and download regardless, or the PS4 itself too, same stuff. I myself did grow up with the GameCube and the N64 and the PS2, etc., where I'm used to game disc and I like collecting, as I mentioned. But if you're a young kid and you don't already have 50 games already in the first place that you grew up with not like all this big nostalgia, do you really care? And now some people with the PS5 Pro have $800 to spend on a console and disc attachment, so they might have enough money too as well to have all these collectibles and things they never had to go and pawn or sell. But at the same time, people are getting on the weird side, because look at stuff like Walmart to remove the physical video games from the store, starting with Xbox next week, and this was as of a year ago, almost on the dot, because I remember covering this news when it first came out. It was just sad news. So for the longest time, the world has been treated with the availability of physical games to enjoy, centering on a plug-and-play experience that allows immediate access to it, but that may soon change over at Walmart. In a new report that's found in the company's memo, Walmart will start removing select physical video games into stores, centering on Microsoft's Xbox platform. So let alone in America, which is obviously not the UK, but still is why I went on that little rant to explain why, we are just seeing video games just being destroyed. Physical video games are just going away, and it's kind of sad because it's slipping away in my hands. By the next, I'd probably say maybe in 5 years or so, it'll probably be very rare to have a physical version, and I'm sure the PS6, the next Xbox, which we kind of made a video on. If you guys missed it, check out the channel itself. I've been trying to only do like 1 video a day as I'm on this little mini break, and that probably will be the standard in the future, but like I said, I'll make a little update video on all this stuff later on. But if you guys been enjoying it, like I've been trying to have like just the good topics, and I mean, I don't know, like I might even want to make some slightly longer videos, like a 16-minute long video if there's a lot of topics to talk about, and just do one good one. So if you, I don't know, thank you guys for watching. Like we're gonna have some editing and stuff. I'm gonna talk about this a little bit. I'm just trying to take a break first, which I might even make like 3 or 4 videos and kind of schedule them on out. But anyway, basically you guys can kind of see the physical, basically this physical consoles are just flopping. As of right now, there's only $324 million generated by sales of box games in the UK last year. That's a drop of nearly 35% over 2023. So since 2023, they dropped 35% for physical games. And of course, as I mentioned, we're seeing stuff like, you know, Walmart in America and all these big companies like Best Buy, etc., toning down on physical sales. So we see it. I understand it. Like in front of my eyes, I get it. But it sucks. Like I like having the physical games too, whether it's for reselling, whether it's just for having it. I'm more of a haver, but some people do like to buy a game, they beat it in a week, and they go and sell it or put it on Craigslist, Facebook, whatever, share it with their friends, their brothers, sisters, and like that's a special bond. Like I remember back when I was a kid, I'd go have one cool game, my friend would get another one, and we kind of just beat the game and then switch them around. Like it just was a good vibe. But apparently this once again is just not enough of a selling factor, and things like the PS5 Pro not launching with the like disk drive makes sense. The Xbox Series X White update also did not do that as well. It makes sense. Not that I wish it would, but it does make sense. So basically, they're saying this data is courtesy of the Entertainment Retailers Association and based on the data from Nielsen and GfK, Omida, and GSD. The digital market fared better with 4.29 billion generated via console, PC, mobile, and tablet game sales, basically saying like all the normal markets themselves, like say Steam or digital downloads or PS5 sales are doing well. However, that was still a 1% drop, which is kind of whatever. Like we haven't had many big major games that come out this year. Whenever GTA 6 comes out, I'm sure the overall game market for the year is going to do great, especially if there's some other bigger games out there too. I mean, we had a few, I guess like a Spider-Man or something, but I mean, it's kind of whatever at this point. So according to the data, PC download sales were actually down 5%. Console download sales are down 15%. Mobile and tablet gaming rose 2.6%, which makes sense because everyone's so used to, as I mentioned, people growing up with that, which, I mean, I still have barely ever played any mobile games. On occasion, but mostly not. Like, I'm not really a big mobile gamer. And then subscription revenue also increased by 12%, but think things like PS Plus going up in price, Game Pass as well. That type of stuff. So this means the video game market will sit behind film and video in the UK for the second year, which is kind of crazy because usually video games are bigger. The best-selling game in the UK was EA Sports FC 25, which shifted 2.9 million copies. ERA reveals that 80% of its sales were via digital stores. So once again, like they just don't need it. Like 80% of these games are sold on digital, and I'm sure some people or couldn't even buy the physical, like someone like me who enjoys it. Well, if they're sitting there and that you can't buy it anyway, they're probably just going to buy it on digital downloads anyway. People have the internet. People are used to it. You download stuff all the time anyway, whether it's just for apps that are normalized, whatever. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, even like my grandma can probably figure out how to go and download apps if she really needed to. It's like, I mean, people can do it. But it still sucks because, once again, this is taking away from like how I grew up with video games. And maybe I just sound like a boomer. I don't know. I'll make videos about this again in the future because I've probably heard similar topics. But just brand new information where it does seem like everything's gone down. Good examples looking at GameStop too as well, if you guys see this. As of last year, it was $5.27 billion, you know? But if you looked at the year before, it was 5.92 billion. And as you guys probably know, GameStop is big on consoles, like people basically buying and selling and trading used video games, and people physically going into stores to go and buy physical copies. Where once again, Walmart and other various places are just getting rid of it, which sucks. So, and you guys even kind of see too as well, the current revenue went down to, so it went from 5.29 billion to 5.27 billion to 5.43 billion. And at the same time, if we're looking at these same numbers, it's going to go down even more. So it just sucks because if you guys are big people who enjoyed physical gaming, like I said, and I do personally enjoy this, it's just slowly going away. It's just collapsing. It's just gone. And well, like, what are we supposed to do about it? Now, granted, I do think the PS6 will probably have some weird attachment thing like how the Pro has to as well, and how they try to sell it off initially from the PS5 disc to PS5 digital, but I do think everyone's trying to like taper it out. Or like say the Switch too as well. I'm sure it'll have physical, but it just probably seems like they're trying to push more on Game Pass, cloud gaming, digital downloads, having the servers and all of that, because we're going to have to spend the money in the infrastructure either way. So I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts because it does suck. Like, this is physically us, almost like my childhood getting ruined in front of me, let's be honest, for being deep and dark. But like, it makes me sad because I'm a physical game copy. I will always bring this up. I'm always going to stand by it. Like, I like the collectors. I like having the physical editions. I like having something in my hand. And although it's not a big deal, like things like the CMOS battery potentially dying, does make me sad. So I don't know. Give me your thoughts and comments. It sucks to see. Subscribe if you guys are new. Subscribe if you guys agree. We have all the Twitters and Twitches and stuff down below. And of course, thank you guys all so much for watching.